last game for episode 4 is GoldenEye 007 on the Nintendo 64. While I've owned this game nearly 15 years and played it on and off nearly 20, I've never actually beaten this game. Main reason is due to not being very into first person games in general. Second reason is that this game is hard. I played this game long before I saw the film, which was the first Bond film I'd seen all the way through. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen very many Bond films though. I've seen at least some of all of Brosnan's, one of Dalton's, I can't remember, Octopussy, and Never Say Never Again. Maybe another more one, but I'm not sure. Bond's always been on the maybe one day list. Ignore that 007 save file, it was on my copy when I got it. So I start a new game on Agent difficulty because I'm fully aware of my own skill level on this game. First level is Verdan, where the only objective is to bungee jump from the platform to get into the secret Soviet chemical warfare facility. There's also breathing from MQ and Moneypenny to read if you want. First thing, Rare did a good job expanding really short scenes from the film into full levels without it feeling forced. In the film, this is just Bond bungee jumping off Verdan. Yeah, I bought the film on DVD just for this video. It was to make sure I got all these Russian names pronounced right, and seeing the film all the way through for the first time in nearly 20 years was a bonus. You might be wondering why buy the film when I could just YouTube scenes to figure out how they're pronounced. Well, I didn't think of that until right now as I'm writing this, shut up. Second thing is that the game recording came out very dark, and I apologise. My Elgato doesn't like my Nintendo made composite cables it seems, as some things recorded on my N64, GameCube and Wii came out that way. You may have noticed it a little in the Rocky video. You did watch it, didn't you? Not Super Nintendo though, strangely enough, even though I used the exact same cable for it at the N64 and GameCube. This is going to be a thing sadly until episode 7 where I finally discover that the Elgato has its own brightness settings, so please bear with me. Unless I figure something out while editing, in which case this paragraph I've written was a waste of time. So while I was jabbering I killed a couple guys and got the KF-7 Soviet and climbed some stairs to get the sniper rifle. It doesn't zoom in as much as you'd expect, but it gets the job done. It can also whack people with the end of it. May as well get it out of the way and talk about the gameplay, or more specifically, has this game aged well? Now, bear in mind my general experience with FPSs. Off the top of my head I believe I've only beaten 4. The first and third Metroid Prime games, the first Red Steel, and Zombie U. So, 2 well regarded, 1 mixed and 1 not so well regarded. Obviously they're not the only ones I've played, just beaten. But in my experience playing this game 22 years after release, I think it's aged fine. Yes, it doesn't use 2 sticks and the N64 controller isn't going to be as precise as a mouse, but they knew that developing this and built the game around it. Bond has a decent auto aim, and the enemy AI was made easy enough to deal with using this control scheme. Obviously I can't talk about where it lands in the pantheon of first person shooters since 1, it's the first one I've done for this show, the Super Spy barely qualifies, and 2, I don't have much experience with the genre. Last time I properly played an FPS was 5 years ago. But the game. Nothing much happened in that time. I went for a tunnel and killed some dudes. I picked up my first body armour, basically a second health bar, but explosions bypass it. I make my way through a pair of security gates and clear out this next area, use the manual aim and shoot off this lock to get through the gate. I then strafe along the dam with the C buttons as it's a lot faster than walking normally until I get to the end and bungee jump off the dam without a bungee. Nice simple level to ease you into the game. Next is the facility, or the future bane of my life, but that's so much later. 4 objectives: gain entry to laboratory area, rendezvous with 006, destroy all tanks in the boiling room and minimise scientists' casualties. We start off crawling through the vents and killing the guy standing in front of the toilet but refusing to use it. Drop down and kill the guy standing in front of the urinal and refusing to use that. Leave the bathroom, go down the stairs, get the armour and make my way across the rooms clearing out the soldiers until I find the clearance B keycard. With it I can get into this room and use the panel to open the security door so I can get through and slaughter the locker room. Through the next corridor, ignoring the other rooms as they're not important on Agent. Clear out these 2 and open the security doors leading to the laboratory, and that's objective A complete. Go up the stairs and take out the soldiers. Can't kill too many scientists, although I'm certain I remember Sean Bean doing exactly that in the film. I should have killed a couple though, considering what this area is going to do to me in a later episode. I go through one more door and meet up with 006, Alec Trevelyan, who takes his time noticing I'm here. While the 2 chat I plant the remote mines on the tanks. The alarm goes off and Trevelyan is held at gunpoint by General Arkady Orumov. I blow up the tanks and escape, leaving Trevelyan to die. Third level is the runway, just gotta find the plate ignition key and escape in the plane. This is gonna be a very quick one. Open the shutter, go in this first building, kill the guys and pick up the key. Then the computer exploded and I don't know why. Strafe over to the other side, get in the tank, drive it down the runway to the plane and take off. This level had a target time of 5 minutes and I beat it in 1 minute 13 seconds, unlocking a cheat, the DK mode. I won't be using them as I'm completing the game, obviously. 4th level is the Severnaya surface. I've got to power down the communications dish and enter the hidden base through a ventilation tower. 5 of the next 6 levels are original to the game. We're still 4 years out from the present day in the game, whereas after the runway sequence in the film it gets right to present day. In the film, Bond is never here, he only views his place by satellite. When I was a kid, I didn't realise enemies in this level were wrapped up for the cold because I didn't know anything about Siberia. I'd never even heard of it when I was 6, so I thought they were robots. I still remember the route for this level years later, so I dash right to the satellite dish, run up the stairs and shut it down. After that I run through this ventilation tower, climb up the ladder, shoot off the locks and jump in. Next is the bunker, where I have to copy the GoldenEye key and leave the original, and photograph the main video screen. Right away I spend too long trying to shoot a security camera so I get spotted and the alarm goes off. This is another location we see in the film but Bond never visits. It's where Natalia Simeonova and Boris Grishenko work before Arumov's men come in and kill everyone. This is a really small level and I can kill everyone quickly. I scare off Boris, pick up the GoldenEye key without realising it and go into the pause menu to equip the camera and photograph the screen. I copy the key and throw it away and then leave. That's a quarter of agent difficulty done already. Level 6, the silo, is one I only have vague memories of. All I have to do here is photograph the satellite and don't kill too many scientists. They've been using missile test firings to mask the launching of the GoldenEye satellite. This level's quite a bit longer than what came before. This is also the first completely original location in the game too. There's no missile silo in the film. The pattern for this level in Agent goes corridor, remove scientist where I have to scare a keycard off one, more corridors, repeat. Sometimes we'll pass a missile. In the fourth room containing scientists, I find a satellite and take the photo, completing objective A. Through the next door is a room over with some more soldiers. I just stand in the doorway gunning everyone down. If you shoot him enough you can pick up his briefcase, but it has no use. Gun down everyone in the computer room and exit using the lift. This level had a 3-minute target but I spent a lot of time messing around in it, so I'll have to come back for the cheat later. Level 7 is the frigate, where I have to rescue hostages and plant a tracking bug on a helicopter. We're actually in the present day now. This is sorta in the film. Bond is on a boat where a helicopter is stolen by people working for a Janus, and the inside of the frigate looks like the boat in the film, but it wasn't a hostage situation. They just kill the pilots and take off with the helicopter. I free one hostage, but one in the next room we shot dead before I realised they were even in the next room. The hostage I did free likes to hang around in front of me while I'm being shot at. I make my way further down into the ship and keep killing all the enemies and freeing hostages until enough escape to complete objective A. I don't know the exact amount needed to pass or how many need to die to fail an agent, but I think I saved all but the one I lost earlier and this last one here because I didn't realise he had a guy stood behind him. After that I get lost for a bit trying to find the side of the ship with the helicopter, but when I do, I throw the tracking bug on it and leave. For level 8, the helicopter was tracked back to the 7-layer surface where I have to break the communications link to the bunker and then get inside. I always remembered this level for the blood red sky and also the fact that I get stuck here a lot. This time very aware and I have them coming for me almost right away. Gotta say though, this level is probably one of the ones affected by the dark recording the most, as you can see, unless of course I figured out a good fix, which I probably didn't. I go back to the satellite dish to shut it down again, but the door's locked. I then throw my one remote mine onto the dish itself, which causes the game to tell me, "You did it wrong, knobhead." Ever constantly make the same mistake every time you play a certain game because you remember the act of doing the wrong thing, but don't remember it actually being the wrong thing? Let's try again. I find a stolen helicopter and throw the mine at it, the game letting me know I did it right. Then I realised that blowing up the helicopter was most likely an objective for a higher difficulty and I didn't need to restart the level. I said I got stuck here a lot, mainly because a lot of the landscape looks the same. Also the red sky is cool, but it does make the level a little darker, making it a bit harder to figure out where exactly I am. So there's a few minutes of wandering around, checking out every cabin, probably checking the same cabin multiple times and not knowing. After a ludicrous amount of time and 2 more aborts, I find the communications room key after killing this guard. With it I can open the door, destroy the communications link and enter the bunker where of course I get caught because I walked right in through the front door. After that I'm back in the bunker where my objectives are to recover a CCTV tape and escape with Natalia. Spoilers. So yeah, we're in a cell with no weapons and next to us is Natalia Simeonova. She's accused of being a traitor to the country while Arumov stole the GoldenEye. Once again, Bond was never here in the film and he meets Natalia later, the actual meeting being less polite than what we're seeing here. To get out I have to equip the watch magnet attract and wait for the guard to pass by me to use it, swiping the cell key. I get out and judo chop the jailer to death and use the watch magnet over this grate to pick up some throwing knives. I also pick up the guard's KF-7 Soviet and free Natalia. I remember really struggling with this level back as a kid and I don't think I ever actually beat it. I just remember the drones in the ceiling wiping me out, or Natalia walking in front of my gunfire. Yeah, like that. Next time I leave Natalia in a cell while I deal with everyone else. After clearing out the bottom level I go upstairs and find the CCTV tape near where I started the first bunker level. I go back and free Natalia and make a dash for the exit. Sadly I get killed on the way. Next time I free Natalia since I know where the tape is and make a run for it. I just take the hits and run out with her. I say I miss a target time by 6 seconds so I give it another go. This time Natalia decides to check on the computer which prevents me from leaving so I abort and try again. Next time after I pick up the tape Natalia casually walks to my gunfire again and dies. Nothing goes wrong the next time though and I beat the level in 1 minute 6 seconds and unlock the double throwing knives cheat. Level 10 is the St. Petersburg Statue Park where I have 5 objectives. Contact Valentin Zukovsky, finally meet Janus, find the helicopter, rescue Natalia, apparently she's gone missing, and find the flight recorder. Holy shit, this level is dark. Watching the recording I can barely see what's going on. While I make my way through the level to find Valentin, the guards are shooting at me. This stage I remembered as one of the few after the first 5 that I can actually beat. I also remembered it for the music which stands out compared to the rest of the soundtrack. Most of the rest are actiony but this one has a more downbeat feel to it. Eventually I find Valentin, who tells me Janis will meet me at Lenin's statue and that he's Alien's Cossack. If you haven't seen the film or played the game and don't know who they are, look it up. After continuing further and finding the statue, I wait and put my gun away. Janis and his men turn up and he turns out to be Trevelyan. He states his plan to get revenge on the British government for Leon's Cossacks. He's after Talia with the stolen helicopter at the park gates. He also has the GoldenEye firing key and has rigged the helicopter to blow up in 3 minutes. Now I can kill Alex goons and take their automatic shotguns. I like this gun, it just wipes out anyone picking a fight with me here. So this is where Bond and Natalia actually meet in the film. Bond gets hit with a tranq dart and wakes up in the exploding helicopter with her screaming at him. As long as you remember the way back, you have plenty of time. Natalia's just left snoozing beside the helicopter and getting close sex off the proximity fuse, leaving you 15 seconds to get her away from the explosion. Easy, although there will be the odd time where she'll just stand there and wait for a fiery death. With the helicopter exploded, all the Janis guys I ignored on the way back catch up and shoot at me. They miss a few shots and kill Natalia. Gotta try again. With how long the later difficulties of this level took, I just wonder how much time I've spent staring at Robbie Coltrane's face. Next time I save Natalia, I run away from her to get her out of the enemy's firing range. The flight recorder isn't far away, and as I return to the gates, me and Natalia are arrested by Defense Minister Dmitry Mishkin. I'm blamed for shooting guards and blowing up the helicopter. Hey, only the worst of those two things I did. He wants to question us on Severnaya, and we get marched to the Military Intelligence HQ. That's the first half of Agent done. Next is the archives, where I have to escape the interrogation room, find Natalia, and then escape with her. These interrogators aren't very smart. They left the gun on the table in front of me and stood on the opposite side of the room, so they get killed. They drop the DD-44 Dostove, which despite picking up in quite a few levels now, I'm only just using. I also pick up the door key. It doesn't matter though since the guard swings the door right open to shoot me. I leave the room and stand by the stairs until said stairs get bored of sending guards down to me. This level's kind of a maze. It's a lot of smaller rooms I have to navigate to find Natalia. I go up the stairs and start clearing out all these similar looking corridors. When I kill the first guard in the level's biggest room, I find I can now hold double Dostoves. I like this. After emptying the rooms with all the bookshelves in them, I somehow miss the one door leading to Natalia and go downstairs instead. I run into Mishkin, who tells Bond he was right about Urumov being a traitor. He gives me the safe key so I can get the helicopter's black box. Thing is, I don't need an agent, so I kill him. I mean, he dies in the film anyway and I don't get punished for it as long as he dies after giving me that key. Of course in the film it's Urumov that kills him, but since he didn't, I had to be the brave one to murder a man to save canon. By this point just about everyone else is dead, so I'm free to wander around and find Natalia at my own pace. I find my way outside and kill everyone there too, figuring this is where I'm supposed to escape. Yeah, this is another one of those levels I didn't beat as a kid. The save I'd use had all but the secret levels unlocked, so I'd just keep trying them out of order. 13 embarrassing minutes into this level and I finally find Natalia and free her. I figure out I'm supposed to shoot this window and escape through, but guess who got caught on some scenery or something and got left behind without me realising. I like Natalia well enough in the film, not so much in this game. So I do all that again and make sure Natalia's right next to me as I escape. We stop to pause and in that time she's taken by Urumov off screen for level 12, the streets of St. Petersburg. All I have to do is pursue Urumov and not kill too many civilians. This level drove me mad as a kid. I never beat it because of the brief thing. It says Natalia is being taken by car, and there's a timer in this level, so I spend all my time looking for a moving car until I'd either run out of time or die. So right away I get in the tank, and the other reason I'd fail this level would happen. At 6, I didn't know what the words minimise and civilian meant, and casualty just meant that's what my grandmother would watch after the lorry with the theme tune I liked. So I'd see them, crush them under the tank, and wonder why I kept failing the level. If it looks like I'm drunk driving the tank, it's because I'm applying the strafing lets me walk faster strategy to the tank. Eventually I have to abandon the tank and just run the rest of the way, hoping I'm not getting lost in the streets and retracing my steps. Also hoping I don't accidentally step on the landmines. I already drove over a few of the tank and lost quite a bit of health. Somehow I managed to make all the right turns and I start to get very worried as I see the end of the level in front of me but end up with an empty life bar. I make it, but for those 5 or so seconds I was terrified. The level had a target of 1 minute 45 seconds. Not now, I'll come back to that one later. Next is a depot where all I have to do is locate and board Trevelyan's train. I actually beat this one as a kid, so if I struggle here I'll never be able to let go of the shame. So as I make my way through this disused train yard, I accidentally pick up some body armour while dodging enemy fire. I also pick up a D5K Deutsche from an enemy, very useful. I also keep checking out behind a couple shutters even though it's not required at all on Agent and I can just run right to the end. While I'm wasting time, I'd just like to say that the game's soundtrack is great. I already talked a bit about the statue theme, but just about every single track is great. I'd say it's one of Grant Kirkhope's best, but almost every single Grant Kirkhope soundtrack I've heard I could say is one of his best. I do know it has a lot of references to the songs of older Bond films sprinkled throughout, but that's lost on me sadly due to how little I've watched. I enter this building at the end of the depot where the door to the train is locked, so I just go upstairs, through another door, down the stairs, through a shutter and run right into the train, letting cutscene Bond deal with the last enemy. I appreciate this being an easy level, sandwiched between 2 I had trouble with back then. Speaking of, one I have a personal beef with, the train. I just have memories of trying this one for hours but never beating it. I think I did eventually beat it once when I was about 15 or something, but I'm not sure. I've got to destroy the brake units, rescue Natalia, and escape to safety. This level's layout is a lot more straightforward than the last few. I'm just shooting my way from carriage to carriage, making sure to destroy these brake units along the way. The first two carriages are cargo, and we have a lot of guys hiding behind boxes. All the wooden boxes are explosive though, so you don't want to hang behind them yourself too much. Once we're out of that, it's into the passenger carriages. Thanks to the narrow space, it's easy to just gun everyone down, but there's always the guys hidden in one of the first cabins who come out as you get further in and shoot you in the back. It's one of those things where you think you'll catch them this time, but they always get the first shot in. Second passenger cabbage is loads easier. Now as we get closer to the front, there are less enemies per room, but they're more hidden. There always tends to be one off to the side of the entrance ready to shoot you the second you walk in. Gotta be careful in carriage 6, as getting to the door sets off a guy coming out of hiding in a previous locked door and shooting you from behind. That guy causes me a lot of trouble in later difficulties. After that, things are a lot simpler. I shoot the last brake unit, stop the train and get the door key for the front of the train from the last enemy. Trevelyan and Xenia on the top are in the back, and Urumov has Natalia at gunpoint. I only have time for one shot, so I have to kill Urumov and let Trevelyan and Xenia escape. I equip my watch laser and start lasering away the corner of the floor with only a minute to escape. I make it out but still have enemies on the outside shooting at me as I run away from the exploding train. I just make it with the tiniest bit of remaining health while the train explodes. I know it's the easiest difficulty, but I really am proud that I beat Street and Train on my first try. Now it's time for level 15, the jungle in Cuba. I have to destroy all the drone guns, kill Xenia, and escort Natalia to the Yanis base. We start off with a shot of the crashed plane they used to get here. So yeah, we're stuck with Natalia throughout the entire level. Thankfully she's pretty competent in this level and can take down a few enemies for me. I run into my first drone gun and think maybe if I stand still and just trade fire with it, I'll win. Then I learn I'm wrong and just hide behind a tree while I destroy it. In the next area, instead of dealing with the drone right away since I know how dangerous they are, I just run around the outside shooting at the enemies while ending up a hit from death. Guess who doesn't beat this level on their first try? Circling around the drone gun as it's firing also isn't a smart move, but it works out for me here, for the next 15 seconds anyway. Next time I find some body armor and manage to destroy that second one, and the next one. I cross the bridge afterwards and get attacked by Xenia, who I found a nightmare back then. However, I have since found out the strategy of running back the way I came and standing off the side. Xenia can only cross the bridge and can't attack me while I'm here, which gives me the chance to shoot the hell out of her while she's crossing. Of course in the first go I missed most shots but still managed to kill her. After that is another drone to destroy, followed by another as I enter this cave. The grenade launcher I picked up from Xenia deals with it easy though. I climb up the ladder, realise there's a drone waiting for me and dive back down. I fire a grenade up there and hear something getting destroyed, so I go back up and see another drone that hasn't spotted me yet and wipe that out too, completing objective A. With that, I see there's still a load of enemies guarding the end of the level, so I just make a run for it. I get in the lift with Natalia and beat the level. I wound up nearly 4 minutes over the target for the cheat, saving that one for another time too. Next we have Control, what I found to be one of the hardest levels in all 3 difficulties. I gotta keep Natalia from dying, disable Goldeneye and destroy the armoured mainframes. We start off in that lift. I go ahead and clear out of a room for Natalia because she seems to have lost either her ammo or her skill. After taking out all the guards, I let Natalia out of the lift and she messes with his computer. She opens one of the 2 doors and I go in ahead. I then get my ass kicked right away in this next tunnel, losing about 70% of my health. But I avoid death and keep going on, up these stairs and down these while taking out more guards. In the next room is that little shit Boris, so I make things easier and kill him about 10 minutes earlier than he's supposed to die in the film. I go about the room blowing up all the mainframes I can find and open the door to let Natalia in. She thinks me killing cyber terrorist Boris wasn't very nice and runs off, refusing to stop the satellite from firing and failing the level for me. Well, fuck you too, Natalia. I guess you beating the shit out of him in the film with your bare hands are trying to get you killed and also being involved in all your co-workers' deaths also isn't very nice. Not to mention if you leave him he does pull a gun on me. Having to let that Weasley fuck run off is so frustrating. His film death isn't even shown, so we just have to let the man controlling the Goldeneye satellite get away with it. This time I also go into this room with the drone guns. There's a mainframe I missed last time inside. I'm gonna learn to hate those drones later. Once that mainframe is destroyed, I let Natalia in the room where she starts trying to reprogram the satellite. This is where we find out it's aimed to fire at London rather than being told by Trevelyan. Now I just have to protect Natalia from the incoming guards. This is what makes the level hard. First time I get killed without seeing a single guard. That's not usually how this goes. Next time I managed to kill a few of them, but I've still not figured out all their usual locations, so they kill Natalia. I find a hidden body armor next time, so at least I can survive some more shots. I hang around above and try to cut off most of the enemies before they can get in firing range. It's a bit risky though since some slip through and get some shots in, but it works this time. Natalia makes Goldeneye's orbit decay and Bond tells her to go back to the surface while he deals with Trevelyan. The other 2 doors in this room can now open and I find the final mainframe. With it destroyed I try to find the exit. I end up in front of it but surrounded. After blowing a few guys up and running away because I don't want to get killed entering the lift, I find another body armor that I am very thankful for. With it I run straight for the lift and finish the level. Second to last normal level now, the caverns. All I have to do is reach the end of the level without killing too many scientists. This is another area original to the game. In the film, Bond chases Trevelyan and they both end up in the area the final level is based on right away. The scientist killing is easy to avoid on Agent since they're only in the lower levels of those areas and I don't have to go down there in Agent. I go up this big spiral and the room after it to find another room where I can just run and gun my way through. I stop at this door halfway through and go in. I see the drone, decide no thanks and continue along the normal path. The strafe run works really well on this narrow bit. I take out both guards in front of the door while missing one of them dropping something. I run right ahead and blow up the back area, destroying the radio and preventing me from contacting Jack Wade. Doesn't matter on Agent, so I don't care. Also kill the scientist, but there aren't enough to fail the level here anyway. Pick up that body armor on the crate because I'm nearly dying and then finish off my backlog of stalkers. I pick up a code card but it can't open this door, so I go for a look around. I go and clear out the room with the drone and find another code card. This lets me open that door, but there's another door I can't open. After a ridiculous amount of looking, including going back to the beginning of the level to look around, I finally spot a card on the floor where I killed that guard. I'd walked past it with it being on screen many times, and there's my patented Ultra Kintaro's an absolute idiot moment for this game. After that it's simple, go through the doors, try fighting a drone face to face again, chase Trevelyan to the lift and finish the level. Nearly 28 minutes, that's unforgivable. Well, last main level now, the Cradle. I have to destroy the control console and finish off Trevelyan. Right away I go around the back of where I start and get a much needed body armor. All I can do here is run up the walkway and shoot at the guards as they appear. Halfway up, Trevelyan activates the main console, leaving me 3 minutes to destroy it before GoldenEye realigns. Once I get to the top I go down to the centre and go into this shed where a drone shoots at me. I destroy both of them and realise I've lost most of my health because there was a guy shooting me in the back the whole time. Once they're dealt with I destroy the main console and complete Objective A. Now it's time to chase Trevelyan and shoot at him. He does laps across just about the entire level, responding to being riddled with bullets with insults from the film. Sadly I don't finish him the first time as one of his guards gets me first. Second time I get lucky and manage to take out nearly all his health in one spot. He makes a run for the lower level and goes down into this hut. He drops down the ladder and I follow, but before I can turn to face him he shoots me off the platform. Third time I get down there and shoot him off the platform. I'm treated to seeing him fall a couple more times before Bond catches onto his helicopter and leaves. I missed out on the cheat by over a minute, but just beating the level at all unlocks the Magnum cheat. Next I'm shown Bond and Natalia kissing in the jungle while the credits play, followed by a character parade. This is still an enjoyable game, but I'm not done yet. There are still 2 levels I haven't unlocked. For them I'm going to have to do the high difficulties, so I go back to the dam and choose Secret Agent. The only new objective for this one is neutralising all the alarms. On Secret Agent enemies are not only more accurate with their shots, but they also do more damage. So I just have to shoot out all these alarms before I do the bungee jump. Thing is, I only know of this first one, and I get killed looking for the second. The others are in these buildings along the dam I ignored last time. Don't have to go in very far, they're just by the doors. There's one in all 3 buildings for a total of 4 alarms. With the last one destroyed I can jump off the dam again. Turns out on this difficulty there's a cheat unlocked by beating it 43 seconds faster. I can do that, just gotta play better. I get it on the very next try, beating the time by just 1 second and unlocking the paintball mode cheat. So I decide to do the level on Double O Agent difficulty right away. Now I also have to install the covert modem and intercept the data backup. Here I get killed before I make it to the first alarm. Once I go through the gate after the first alarm, I have to turn right and head to this monitor. I then have to equip the covert modem and throw it onto the monitor. Now for that data backup. Another death later I enter this building and go down the stairs. This is where I die a lot. Ammo is a lot more scarce in Double O Agent and I'm in a cramped tunnel with a lot of enemies, so of course I die the first time in here. And the second. And many more times after. It's only after about an hour and 20 minutes I finally make it to the end of that tunnel. Where, because I was so focused on getting here, I forgot what I was actually supposed to do here and blew up the mainframes, failing that mission. Takes me over 20 minutes to get back there. This time I just walk up to them and press B to make a backup of their data. With that done I can finish shooting up the alarms and finish the level. From the time it took to do that, I decided to just focus on Secret Agent for now, and hopefully by the time I'm done with it I'll be good enough to do Double O Agent with relatively little trouble. The only new objective in the facility is to contact Dr. Doak, a Double Agent posing as one of the scientists. This guy will be my biggest enemy in the future. Level goes as normal, just with more and stronger enemies. I do have to check these side areas though, as Dr. Doak is in a random location every time the level starts. Lucky for me he was in the first room I checked, he gives me a decoder for getting into the bottling room. Yeah, no just walking in this time. Apart from that there's not much else different and I finish it on my first try. The only addition to runway is that I have to destroy the missile battery, so I do. That's the only difference. For the first surface level I have to find a safe key and steal the building plans in the bunker. I also need a large key from this soldier to get into the hut that contains a safe key. I find the safe key on a desk and run to the other side of the level where I open the safe to get the bunker plans, then I end the level. I spend quite a bit of time looking for that safe key so I missed the cheat by over 3 minutes, but now I have everything memorised, so once again I beat the time by 1 second and unlock the double grenade launcher cheat. The only addition to Bunker 1 is destroying all the security cameras. I pretty much did all that the first time. Done. Easy. Now I have a problem. There's only footage of my first fail attempt of Silo on Secret Agent. While I was playing, our electricity ran out and I lost a 3-hour recording. What was lost? Well, me beating Silo, Frigate, Surface 2 and Bunker 2 on Secret Agent, and also unlocking the No Radar and multiplayer cheat by beating Frigate in under 4.5 minutes. Considering both Silo and Bunker 2 had me struggling for over an hour each, I didn't feel like recording them again. However, you will still see me complete all their new objectives when I get around to playing them on 00 Agent. So yeah, sorry. But that's a good chunk of GoldenEye 007. Look forward to me continuing Secret Agent next time. Back to GoldenEye 007 where we're making our way through Secret Agent difficulty. As said last time, the electric going out lost my footage of Silo through Bunker 2, so we're starting with Statue where the objectives are all the same. If I'm remembering this right, I'd also spent half an hour to an hour trying this level back then, which was lost too. Thing is, there's a cheat to unlock by beating this level quick, so I'm rushing for that as well. I meet Valentin, then Trevelyan, then get stuck in the maze like a dickhead instead of going around it, and quit. Then the extra damage on this difficulty gets me destroyed by the Janus Goon shotgun while heading to the helicopter. This happened quite a lot in the Lost Voyage. It's even worse when you get killed just before you pick up the flight recorder. But I managed to get it on the next try and beat the level again. Sadly the target for the cheat was 3 minutes 15 seconds and I took a full minute longer, so back in I go. The worst part is waiting for Valentin to shut his gob so I can get moving. I once tried running off as soon as he starts talking, but that pisses him off and fails for level 2. After thinking I'd done really well, I get killed looking for the flight recorder again and find I was still over the target, so I decide to just leave it for now and get it later. The only new objective for Archives is recovering the helicopter black box. Losing 3/4 of my health trying to leave the first room isn't a good start. Did I say 3/4? I meant dying because the endless enemies would get me during my reloading. Twice. Third time I managed to leave the room losing only 95% of my health. Thankfully there's a body armor not far away, but I still get killed before I find Natalia. Fourth try, I very slowly inch my way through the level being incredibly careful, and this time I find Natalia and nearly kill her myself trying to shoot the guard behind her. As for that black box, remember that optional conversation with Mishkin for a safe key? Well, we gotta do it this time. I didn't do it this time, but you can still kill him with no punishment as long as he gives you that safe key first. Then I blast through those windows and escape again. 12 minutes 10 seconds. That's ridiculous. As for streets, the only new mission is to contact Valentin again, so I have to go into the first alley I find in the level. Valentin is in one of the houses and puts in a call for his men to stall Uramov's car, which adds another 5 minutes of a timer. Then it's just a case of running for the exit again, which isn't so simple when you turn a corner and get blown up. Second time I take the tank, it doesn't keep me alive. Maybe I can sidestep my way through that street? Nope. Then one notices me hiding around the corner and gets me. Then I decide, fuck it, I'll just run and gun through him. I can take him. I actually can't. I do manage it next time though. That was just over half an hour. 3 new objectives for Depot. I have to destroy the computer network, obtain another safe key, and use it to recover the helicopter blueprints. For that first one I have to turn left here and into this warehouse where an enemy behind me shoots me and boosts me right into view of everyone. So I leave for a bit and clear out everyone coming from behind. I go back in and sadly get killed by the drone gun up in the corner. Since that time I died trying to carefully peek around the corner, I figure maybe I can run in and destroy everything and run out before the drone kills me. I can't. You'd think I'd learn by now. That's why I try it again. I do manage to destroy the mainframes, but I get stuck against a wall and die again. Then I decide to raid a warehouse a little further on for some mines and a rocket launcher. I fire at the drone to catch it in the explosion, but it shots hit me first and kill me. Next try I go all the way to the end of the level and back to take out every single enemy so none can sneak up on me. The 10 minutes running back and forth turns out to be wasted as they eventually chip away all my health. Then I just try rocketing in the middle of the room hoping to catch everything in the explosion. One mainframe remains, so I just plant a mine on it and shoot it, finally accomplishing objective A. Now for that safe key. It's in this room but I still can't get the timing on that drone, so I just run out hoping to pick up the key, but it doesn't work out. I complete that objective again, but get killed looking for some body armor to wear while dealing with that drone, so that goes on for a while. So let's skip to another 20 minutes later where I finally kill my greatest nemesis and pick up that safe key. The safe with the blueprints are very close to the end of the level and I finally beat it. Now I need to cut 28 seconds off that final time, so just a case of playing better. There's nothing else to say about this level and my struggles, so I'll just say it took another 30 minutes and I managed it at 3 seconds under the target. This unlocks the slow animation cheat. Time for Train, where the new objective is to locate Janus' secret base. What this means is that apart from the stronger enemies, the level is basically the same until I reach the final car. But it's getting to that final car that's the hard part. I get killed a lot here. Worse is when you get towards the end and remember that guy who shows up from behind I mentioned last time? Well, he's the most frustrating part, because there will be a time when you're so fed up with dying, you forget about him and he gets the killing shot. You're waiting for an enemy to come around that corner? Guess who you just forgot about, arsehole? Half an hour in, I make it to the second to last car and get killed. This difficulty has reignited my old hatred to this level. I get back to my killer and avenge myself and finally make it to that last car. I kill Urumov again and get to lasering away that floor. But this is where that new objective comes in. Natalia now has a minute to track Boris's files to find the Janus base. She finds out it's in Cuba with 26 seconds left and we escape. Now that was frustrating enough, but it's only going to get worse next time. For Jungle, the only new thing is to blow up an ammo dump. The level goes fine. That is, until I was firing at an enemy and Natalia decides to just walk in front of my fire and die. Thanks mate. But apart from that, can't miss the ammo dump and I blow it up. Then I escape. Only 2 tries this time, nice change. Now for some misery, we're back at control. No new objectives, but they make up for it with something heinous. So I leave the lift and immediately get shot to shit. Not only did they plant a drone to fire at you right as you leave the lift, but there's also 2 more just in this tiny first room ready to make you pay for going around corners. As you can imagine, I die a lot here too. Let's just skip to 18 minutes and many deaths in the future, where I finally take out all 3 drones for the first time. I'd rather not spend too long talking about a repeated level, especially after the last part of this episode. It was hell to edit at that length. You see how much health I have at the beginning of the next room? I don't fancy my chances here. Despite that, I make it to the control room, destroy all the mainframes in it, and get that hidden body armor, enter that side room with 1 mainframe, discover there's 4 drones in there now, get shot into the corner and mutilated. I make it back there on my next try and manage to take out the mainframes and all the drones. However, Natalia whips out and decides to die from all those bullet holes seconds before the same happens to me, while I'm trying to pause to quit the level I might add. Oh yeah, this one has an unlockable cheat too, the finishing in under 10 minutes. Might seem generous, but most of that time will be spent hiding around corners from the drones. So imagine me either being killed in the first room or losing Natalia for about 2 hours straight. But when she finally decides to live and ruin GoldenEye's orbit, I'm pumped. I've just got that 1 mainframe left to destroy, then book it for the exit and hope I did it in time. You what? She never fucking died during that. I watched it again and got no failure for that objective, and I was half a minute below the fucking target. I'm not happy. That's not happening again right away. Now I'm being killed and dashed to the exit while way under the target, or I'm watching my wasted space sidekick get killed again. Did someone at Rare hate her? She was fine in the film, why did they make her so worthless here? You know what, fuck it, I got annoyed at this level already last episode. How long did it take before I finally beat it? About 3.5 hours, which I would just like to add is about half an hour less than it took me to beat the entire game on Agent. I even checked before exiting that Natalia didn't drop dead out of nowhere. I beat the target too and unlock infinite ammo. At least that's a worthy cheat for what I went through. Cavern now, and I actually have to do things now. I have to destroy the inlet and outlet pump controls and the master control console while still minimising scientist casualties. A common thing with this level is once again the first group of enemies taking out a good chunk of my health, usually by sneaking some shots in while I'm reloading. Thing is, I don't actually know where these controls are, so I just blow up things and hope an objective gets completed. Problem is, some scientists just want to stare at the explosions and watch as they get engulfed. Like, I want to blow up this computer, but the scientist just stands there like a lemon with his hands in the air in range of the explosion. Eventually I do blow up every computer here and accomplish objective A. However, when I get up the next floor and check the back room, I get my ass kicked. I escape, but again the stairs outside finishes me off. Next time I get pinned in the corner outside that room and destroyed. Then killed as that room's door opens. I still haven't figured out where the other controls are yet, I'm just trying to clear out the area so I can search in peace. Let's skip to over 10 minutes later. I manage to take out everyone and blow up the computer in the back that accomplishes objective C. I also destroy a radio and get told I can't contact Jack Wade, a character from the film who doesn't make an appearance in the game outside contacting him on that radio. As I said, I rewatched the film after I recorded the game, so it was just like, who? Next I finally check out that room with the drone. However, I foolishly forget the lockers are also explosive and die when the enemy blows them up on me. Okay, this time, no. Right, this time I'm certain I've taken everyone out. No more sneak attacks I hope. I blow up all the computers here and complete objective B. Now just to finish the level. Turns out someone stuck a drone in that last corridor. It also spawns some enemies behind me, and while I turn to take them out, someone kills me from behind. Then I'm dying earlier than I ever have in this level. It's only 5 minutes later I make it back to that point where I try to mine the drones but get caught in the closing doors and killed. Another 27 minutes and I'm back again. I don't have time to cycle through my weapons when these guys spawn behind me, so I go in the pause menu. Those pricks kill me while I'm in the unpausing animation. 15 minutes later. No. However, next time I destroy those drones and shut that door behind me that those guys come from to slow down potential others. Then it's just taking out those last guys and entering the lift. 3 hours 10 minutes that one, not as long as Control, but it felt longer. Time for Cradle. No new objectives, just gotta do the same level again but harder. Not much really to say here, it's the same level but harder. My first time goes horrendously though. I get massacred by the first group of enemies, twice. I actually make it past them the next time but get into a corner after blowing up the control console and killed as soon as I leave the building. This is a common thing, going for the door but yet more sneaky fuckers show up behind me and chip away at me. That's really the hardest part of the level. Chasing Trevelyan is difficult, but at this point most of the enemies are more spread out and not all converging on me at once. It still doesn't keep me from dying, mind you. The hardest part of the chase is Trevelyan going up here, because now you just open yourself up to fire from every direction. Next time I safely got to the top and taken everyone else out so I can get some good shots in, but when it goes back down, one new guy kills me. Doesn't take as long as the last two though. 40 minutes of trying and I finally get him to run for that tiny platform. With no health left I might add. I drop down and shit. 20 minutes later, I actually get him. I watch him fall again, Bond catches onto the helicopter, and the credits. For beating every level on Secret Agent, I unlock a new level, Aztec. Never played this level before. I pick Agent first and I have to reprogram the shuttle guidance and then launch the shuttle. This bonus level is based on Moonraker, which I haven't seen, so I have no idea what this is about. I know their spaceship. Right away I get most of my health taken by the first 3 enemies and don't notice the grenade dropped by the last one I killed. I have a good feeling about this one. I find the secret wall, kill the 3 guys waiting for me behind it, walk out and have one guy shoot up from his corner to kill me. Next time I just run out and kill them. I go through the hidden door in the back into this computer room and kill everyone inside. I can see a computer in the back but I can't actually get to it. I need a security card to get through the door. I head into these weirdly shaped corridors and take out the first guard. Around the corner I see the guards are completely unaware of me killing the guy next to them with a loud machine gun. Then in the next room the ceiling opens, revealing the shuttle, and then everything explodes for seemingly no reason. Turns out there's a secret passage behind the computer's venom is in them. These are the guys that blew them up. So I go in and carefully make my way around. Very narrowly avoid being killed by a drone, but I end up in a good spot where it can't shoot me but I can shoot it. Right around the corner I find myself a much appreciated body armour. I kill one more guy around the corner and pick up his Moonraker laser, although no prompt is shown on screen and I don't realise. I step out the other side and go right back in when I find they have another drone aimed right at the exit. Since I can't get a good look without being shot, I just run out and take the damage while I look for a better hiding spot. I also find there's actually 2 waiting for me. I take the first one out and try climbing this ladder behind me. Maybe I'm supposed to go this way. I get most of my health lasered away and find a computer that closes the exhaust bay. On the way back I destroy the other drone and try to take out these laser guys. Some new guys take out all the rest of my health but I manage to kill them and the 2 in the back. But then I'm killed by yet another drone I didn't notice. Next time, same thing. Next time I finally discover I picked up that laser. I like it, I mean, unlimited ammo, no more having people take me out while I'm reloading. Take out both these arsehole drones and discover the mainframe that controls the shuttle launch. Can't use it yet though. So I go in through this next hidden passage. I kill this guy all stealthily, I can turn around to find Jaws and another guy who are watching me the whole time. I kill the other guy but Jaws has 2 machine guns and I have barely any health, so you can guess how this goes. Oh, never mind, I kill him. On my first try too. I pick up the smart card for getting to that computer and get killed from behind on my way back. I guess Jaws was lulling me into a false sense of security because now he isn't taking any of my shit. Guy's a monster. Kill one guy and have him run around the corner, shoot me once and run off. So I stand still shooting it where he's going to come back through any second now, only to discover he ran around the other side and he kills me again. See, the way he works is that for the first 2 shots, he doesn't take hit stun, letting him fire at me at the same time. Once you've got the first 2 shots in, you can gun him down, but the hard part is having enough health at that point to do that and survive. Dying after that point is always painful. Next time I kill him and make my way back. I open that door, get shot by a newly spawned enemy, take him out, turn back around and kill 2 guys who follow me back, then get killed by another guy from that room. Okay, 2 more tries later and I'm back there. I go through the door and pick up the DAT. Sadly I don't leave the room with it. Let's try that again. I have a complete brain fart and check around in Jaws' area again and get myself killed. Next time I forgot to close the exhaust bay, preventing me from getting back to the room with the DAT, and I get shot off a ladder when I go back to close it. Now let's try with some competence. I initiate the shuttle launch and know that thing I said about competence? Well, forget it. I think I have to escape or something thanks to a timer, so I go back in Jaws' area only for the game to tell me, open the exhaust bay, dickhead. I don't beat it this time. In my defence, I had been playing for hours and it was the early hours of the morning. On my next try I actually do it right and open the exhaust bay to let the shuttle out. I think I'm safe but very nearly get killed by one remaining enemy. The shuttle launches and I realise that those couple of hours I spent on that I now have to repeat on a higher difficulty. I get killed in the first room. Oh, and there's a cheat to unlock by finishing in under 9 minutes. Great. Do I need to go through this again? The objectives are unchanged, so can I just say that it took me about 3 hours 40 minutes to beat, and I missed the cheat by 9 seconds. And it takes me another 25 minutes to beat it again, but this time I beat the target by 39 seconds and unlock double lasers. I could have left it there for this episode, but I decided to go on and get some 00 agent levels done. I already did damn last time, so next is... No. I know about 00 agent facility. Next time. So runway. Now I also have to destroy the heavy gunman emplacements. After a lot of looking for them and running over many men with a tank to let out my frustrations with the last level, I find them at the very end, but get killed. I died. On runway. I'm not embarrassing myself this time. I take them all out and then die running for the plane. Okay, this time I'm not embarrassing myself. Then I decide maybe I'll give facility a try for some self-punishing reason. It goes as well as you'd expect. So surface 1 again. Objectives are the same. Subnob kills me. Then I beat it with little trouble on the next try. Now that's what I like to see. New objectives to Bunker 1, but I decide, nah, I'm skipping to Surface 2 while the layout is fresh in my mind. I now also have to disrupt all surveillance equipment and disable the Spetsnaz support aircraft. If you remember, I did that last one on Agent when I didn't need to. So I start blowing up cameras while doing the usual stuff for the comms room. Of course I failed to get it done on my first try and also discovered I had a 4 minute 15 second target to beat too. So a few tries later I blow up that last camera after taking out the comms link, blow up the helicopter, get myself arrested and even beat the time by 26 seconds, unlocking Tiny Bond. Then I decide to move on to Statue, because the objectives are still unchanged and I think I can take it. You know, because of my impressive 40 minutes of trying on the previous difficulty. So I was skimming through my footage and forgot all about my attempts to deal with the boredom of Valentine's beating and get confronted with this. Just about shit myself. Remember how strong the Yana soldiers' shotguns became on Secret Agent? Yeah, I have no chance. 15 minutes later and please Valentine talk quick, I'll do anything. Worst part was when I set off like a second too early and he got fed up and failed the level for me. But after about 40 minutes, I give in. That's it for this episode. Next time, we will be finishing GoldenEye 007. I know this because I have up to episode 9 recorded, so I should know. These higher difficulties will not be affecting the ranking of this game, for despite how unfun some of these levels have been on Secret Agent, if the default difficulty was enjoyable, that's all that matters. Until I play a game where the hard difficulty does affect the ranking, because I can change the rules because it's my fucking show, but now I'm just rambling and wrote myself into a corner. We're finally going to be finishing GoldenEye 007 this episode by clearing out the rest of 00 Agent difficulty. Starting with the one that I believe gave most people nightmares, Facility. Remember, while the objectives are the same, the enemies are much smarter and deal more damage, and I have to finish the entire level in less than 2 minutes 5 seconds. It took so long that I actually had to delete 4 straight hours of me failing this level for space reasons. I start by strafing right through the bathroom and down the stairs, shooting at the security door to alert the guards inside so they come out while running for the guard that drops a clearance keycard. If I get unlucky and constantly knocked away from the door by enemy fire, I abort. After a while I drop the alerting strategy and just run in there, activate the security door and run right out. In this hallway I use one of my remote mines to take out these guards quickly. Rather than activating the next security door properly, I shoot it to lure the enemy into opening it and plough through. I end up dying while looking for Dr. Doak. Dr. Doak is the biggest problem with this level. His location is randomised, which means he could be in one of the side rooms of that hallway I use a mine in. If he's in there, you aren't getting that cheat, there's just no time to go in those rooms. So most of the time I do a quick run through this room and abort if Bond doesn't start talking. And don't forget about the scientists getting in your way and making you fail Objective E. And of course you don't have time to stop and kill every enemy, so most of the time I just get picked off from behind by those I have to ignore. It gets to the point that when Dr. Doak doesn't show up, I end up executing scientists. It's not until 34 minutes into this recording that I run into Dr. Doak. I run through the door to the bottling room and when pausing to select the decoder, accidentally abort, with 40 seconds left to get the cheat. I was so used to only pausing for aborting after these now 4.5 hours straight playing that muscle memory took over and ruined it. But it's only 3 minutes later that I'm lucky enough to meet him again and use the decoder right. I plant my mines, blow up the tanks, but I didn't space them out enough and had to spend a couple seconds blowing up the last 2. But after 4.5 hours, I finally clear the level with the final time of It's not for another 23 minutes I meet Dr. Doak again, but this time I get killed as the door is being decoded. Do you think the real David Doak this guy was named after get shit for his blocky counterpart's actions? 13 minutes after that I make it to the bottling room but get killed before I can blow up the tanks because Trevelyan was spending too long standing in range of the explosion. 7 minutes later he does it again and gets blown up. But after a total of approximately 5.5 hours I finally get a time of 2 minutes unlocking the invincibility cheat. Now that's a worthy reward for my efforts. Remember, 5.5 hours with each level attempt being anywhere from 20 seconds to 2 minutes long. Did Runway and Surface 1 last time, so it's on to Bunker 1. 2 more objectives, get personnel to activate computer and download data from computer. First thing I gotta pick up this computer room keycard. Inside computer room, I die. There's also a cheat for beating this in under 4 minutes. Let's skip to much later when I actually accomplish something. See Boris there? We actually need him this time. Once I photograph the screen and copied the GoldenEye key, I hold him at gunpoint and demand he take me to the mainframe terminal. He walks very slow, which drives me insane considering that cheat I need to unlock. I have him disable the security on the mainframe, which accidentally sets off the alarm, so I quickly use the data thief I've always had in this level to download the data and run to the exit. Sadly I get caught on these men and get killed just before the last set of stairs. It only takes me another 10 minutes to get it though. I beat the time by 3 seconds and unlock the double rocket launcher cheat. Now for one of the secret agent levels I had lots of footage of, Silo. My new objectives are to plant bombs in the fuel rooms, obtain telemetric data, and retrieve satellite circuitry. Each fuel room as I make my way through the level has at least one of these circuit boards on a table somewhere. I know I'm on a timer here, but I'm not going for a cheat so I can take things a little slowly. 9 minutes is plenty of time if you know what you're doing anyway. Of course I don't do it on my first try. Gotta actually remember to plant those plastic explosives too. It takes me nearly half an hour to make it to the third fuel room, which is where the final circuit board is, completing Objective D. In the fourth and final room I plant the last explosive and complete Objective A. But for whatever reason I misremembered and thought the one guard here dropped the telemetric data DAT, so I can't beat the level. It's actually dropped by a scientist in the third fuel room, as I find out 20 minutes later. With everything accomplished, it's time to finish the level. But no, I die so close to the end. 44 minutes later, and with a total of 1 hour 36 spent on this level, I finally beat it. Now for Frigate, where the two new objectives since Agent are to disarm the bridge bomb and the engine room bomb. Of course, I'm still incapable of saving this hostage. In fact, I failed for letting too many hostages die on the first attempt. Second try I try the other side of the bridge but hesitate too long and the hostage still dies. Along with too many once again. Next time I finally manage to free that hostage, but this time I'm the one that dies. Let's just skip to my successful attempt. Here I figured out a safe enough route to free the hostages without getting myself killed, plant that tracking bug on the helicopter, stealth through the engine room and use the bomb diffuser here to complete Objective C. Remember that there's a bomb on the bridge and defuse that, and I'm free to finish the level. It only took 22 minutes altogether. Good thing there's no cheat to unlock because I was so cautious I took 8.5 minutes. Already did Surface 2 last time, so it's time for Bunker 2. Here I have a lot more stuff to do. Compare staff and casualty lists, recover the CCTV tape, disable all the security cameras and recover the GoldenEye operations manual. This one was hellish back in the Secret Agent playthrough I lost. Of course, since I'm under no time limit I can leave Natalia and come back for her later. And I get holed up in this room near the jail with a safe in it, just standing by and waiting for every enemy to approach first so I can kill them. Gotta shut the door to delay their AI a bit more too. One of the guards here also dropped a keycard. I also use those quiet moments between any attacks to zip outside and pick up the dropped ammo, but they slowly wear down my health and I die. When it seems like I've cleared most of them out, I head upstairs and hole myself up in this room instead. One of the documents I'm looking for is in this room too. However, while looking for a camera in the section with the drones, I missed one and it killed me. Now this goes on for about an hour altogether. For my successful try, I once again hole up in the room with the safe for a few minutes. Once the guards stop turning up, I antagonise another set of them and run back to the room and wait until they're all cleared out. Of course, I'm making sure to destroy any cameras I pass by. I also take advantage of being able to shoot through the small windows on the doors. Pick up the videotape to complete Objective B, set off the rest of the guards on the bottom floor and hide away in the safe room again. With them gone, I explore this room for the clipboard, which combined with the document accomplished Objective A. I set off the guards in the last room and once again escaped to the room with the safe. But they didn't chase me, so I just went back and killed them there. The last two guards on this site didn't hear, so I had an easy time with them. I also complete Objective C when I destroy the last camera. I then pick up the safe key in the computer room and open the safe for the red dossier, getting Objective D done. Then I just open Natalia's cell and escape. Yep, 24 minutes, 20 seconds. Now for statue. Once again, no new objectives. Thing is, there's nothing left to say about this level. Objectives are the same between all three difficulties and I tended to die at the same place as I did on Secret Agent. So let's just say it took me about half an hour and continue to Archives, which also has the same objectives as on Secret Agent. I don't even make out of the interrogation room on the first try. I also learned that to get a cheat I have to beat this level in under 1 minute 20 seconds. Despite how insane that sounds, it doesn't take anywhere near as long as a facility cheat. Since nothing's changed and I mostly die in the interrogation room with the rest of the level being much easier, it doesn't take me long until I beat the level, but I still need to shave 37 seconds off my time. The main strategy for this one is just memorising the layout of this maze-like level. Hope you don't get caught in any scenery for even a second. When you open the door for Natalia, just turn and run right away. And don't forget you'll lose some time to Mishkin flapping his gums. This particular attempt to lure an enemy follows me and blows up all the boxes in the room Mishkin is in, killing Natalia. 20 minutes more and I beat the level again, but I'm still just 3 seconds out. 8 more minutes trying and I shave 1 more second from that time. 9 more minutes later and I don't know what happened. Everything just lined up so perfectly that I beat the level in exactly 1 minute 20 seconds and unlocked the invisibility cheat. Streets, like the last 2 levels, has no change in objective. It also has no cheat to unlock. I pretty much die in the same place as I did on Secret Agent and beat the level in 28 minutes of trying. Now it's time for Depot, which adds destroying the illegal arms cache to the objectives. This does mean countless deaths in here thanks to the drones once again. It takes me over 20 minutes to finally make it to that cache. Best remember to pick up all those weapons first or you'll destroy them too. Thankfully there's some proximity mines in this room to use, or I could just shoot one of the crates and set off a chain reaction of explosions to accomplish Objective A. I don't make it very far from there before being killed though. In the end it's an hour and 20 minutes before all this level's out of the way. Now for Train, the other worst part of the game. This adds crack Boris's password to the objective list. This one is another nightmare. The beefed up enemies just chew through my health most of the time, and I have to beat the level under 525 for a cheat, so I can't take my time either. Of course, surprise deaths in the green carriages return and they're even more infuriating. So cracking Boris's password is done in the final carriage after killing Arumov and freeing Natalia, but how long is it until the first time I even make it there? Just over an hour. Just to make it there. However, I made a mistake. I only shot Arumov. Doesn't matter though because I get killed while lasering away the floor. Nearly 25 minutes later I get there again and kill Natalia while aiming for Xenia in the back. 10 more minutes later I kill Arumov but still don't hit Xenia. You see, hitting Xenia will delay the timer on the train self-destruct. It's required here too, because without that extra time, Natalia can't crack Boris's password and she ends up with like 2 seconds to get out of the train. Of course, she doesn't make it. Half an hour later, I still miss Xenia, so the result is the same. But it's okay because less than 10 minutes later I hit her. This gives us 17 seconds to escape the train by the time she's done. Problem? 6 seconds too slow. So how long do you think it took altogether to finally beat that time? 4.5 hours. An hour less than Facility, but this one made me far more irate. The Silver PP7 cheat isn't worth it. I normally never get mad outside the game when I have trouble. Not since I was about 11 or 12 anyway. But this was the exception. I was in a foul mood on the 29th of March because of this level. For comparison, I'm writing this on the 13th of December, so you can see how behind I am with getting these done. Jungle now, and after that I'm glad to see no new objectives, because that means there's nothing new to talk about aside from the fact that it took me just under 3 hours. Usually I like to cut off episodes at around 7 to 10 hours of gameplay, but I really didn't want to drag this out to 4 episodes. Once again, for these I skim over, just reference my Secret Agent playthroughs because they tended to go very similar, just with the 00 Agent run taking longer. Speaking of, you can say the exact same about Control, but adding that the first room with the drones is an even bigger ball ache with the extra damage. This one takes just under 2 hours, how this one took less time than Jungle I don't know. Caverns now requires me to contact Jack Wade. You remember that radio I mentioned in the back of that one room I kept destroying? Well, I've got to be careful. I've actually got to make it to that room first though. I've also got to beat the level under 930 for a cheat. Even when I make it to the room, I still die. 10 minutes later I get back but end up blowing up the radio again. An hour and a half in, I finally contact Jack and complete the objective, but that fucking drone gets me again. 2.5 hours is what it takes to beat the level, but I still need to lower that time by 64 seconds. It takes another hour and a half for a total of 4 hours to get under the target and unlock the double RCP90 cheat. Another one I don't have to talk about because there's no cheat and nothing has changed, Cradle. It takes just over an hour. Sorry if anyone wanted an in-depth look at these levels, but there's really nothing left. No one else has nothing new? Aztec. I'm dying a lot in that first room, it's that hard. The same strategy as last time gets me through to the end with an impressive 2.5 hour total. With everything else beat under 00 Agent, I unlock the game's other secret level, Egyptian. Here I just have to recover the golden gun and defeat Baron Samedi? So this level mixes elements from the man with the golden gun and Live and Let Die, neither of which I've seen. When we start the level we're treated to a glimpse of the golden gun. There's a few enemies dotted around these few similar looking rooms. Back when I first played this game as a 6-year-old, I remember this being the only multiplayer level I'd want to play on. As you might have guessed, there'll be no multiplayer in this video. I only have one controller these days and no one I'd want to force to record live commentary to make it worthwhile. After a bit I run into Baron Samedi and shoot him dead. He then fades away with a laugh. A little bit later I find this staircase leading to the room containing the golden gun, but to get it, you see these tiles? I've got to walk across them in the correct order to lower the glass. I knew about this beforehand and got the correct sequence up, but a couple enemies followed me and shot me onto the wrong tiles, sealing away the gun and activating a pair of drones. Next time I misread the image I was using and set them off again. I made the same mistake on my 3rd try, and my 4th. But on my 5th try I get the pattern down, circle around the case, and get the golden gun, which kills everyone in a single hit. This completes Objective A. I then go through a secret door containing a body armor and start annihilating everyone in sight. At this point Baron Samedi's laugh is heard a lot. I run into him again and kill him again. After this the level turns almost pitch black. I then spend so much time exploring that when I find Baron Samedi once more with double Moonraker lasers, I have only 1 block of health left. By getting that killing shot before he can kill me. Bond is shown leaving with Baron Samedi alive and well, following behind and giving one last laugh into the camera. Now for Secret Agent, no change in objective. I don't know if it was me improving or what, but I find the difficulty increases for this level to be very minor. Maybe it was made to be easy on purpose as a reward for all the insanely hard shit we had to do to unlock it. One challenge increase is that Baron Samedi can now take 1 golden gunshot and live. But that's it, and thanks to me now having the route memorised, I'd beat this on my first try in less than 3 minutes. Once again, 00 Agent has no new objectives, but it does have a cheat for beating it in under 6 minutes. First time I make it to the last Samedi but get killed. But on my second time I get it done easily, and thanks to still remembering the level layout, I beat it in 2 minutes 40 seconds to unlock the all guns cheat. That's every level beat on all 3 difficulties, but I'm not done just yet. There's still a couple cheats I didn't get on the lower difficulties. and since I'm now accustomed to the highest difficulty, I should get through these no problem. After 17 minutes of trying, I finally get that statue secret agent time to 2 seconds under the target for the fast animation cheat. Then, after just 2 attempts, I beat Silo Agent in under 3 minutes for turbo mode. 5 tries on Agent Streets to get the target time exactly for the enemy rockets cheat. 3 tries on Agent Jungle to beat the target by 55 seconds for the double hunting knives cheat. Finally, I have to beat Cradle on Agent in under 2 minutes 15. I beat it on my second try, but I'm off by just 3 seconds. Another 20 minutes later and I finally do it, beating the time by 10 seconds and unlocking the final cheat, the gold PP7. There's an empty spot in the corner of the cheat menu, but that's most likely a leftover from the cut all bonds cheat or the button code only line mode. That's everything beaten and unlocked in this game, but I may as well have fun with these things I drove myself insane unlocking. Let's give myself all guns, invincibility, infinite ammo, DK mode, paintball mode, fast animation and the gold PP7. Beating every level on 00 Agent unlocks 007 mode, which lets me toggle the enemy's health, damage, accuracy and reaction speed. Let's take everything from them despite the fact I'm invincible. So I have a run through the dam with my unlimited paintball, bullets destroying, super speedy, misshapen soldiers. DK mode is the best and every game should have it. It was a very special feeling returning to that fucking tunnel with infinite health and rockets. In Cradle, I remove all of Trevelyan's health before I've even destroyed the control console. I then let him impotently fire at me while I try to decide on the perfect finishing weapon. I choose a taser. And thanks to the fast animation, Bond rockets off into the distance, leaving the rescue helicopter in his dust. And that was GoldenEye 007. It's not one of my favourites or anything, but I can't get behind the idea that it's just unplayable nowadays, as has been going around the last few years. Ignoring those hard difficulties, I enjoyed this game and I think it still holds up well enough.